I'm never going to be enough. It doesn't matter what I do, it's not going to add up to the life that I want. No one's ever going to love someone who loves reading and enjoys stickers. This is the tape loop that I played in my head nonstop. It was the one that could not be dissuaded no matter how many accomplishments or successes I had achieved. It made me feel small and like I was never going to go anywhere because I was never going to be enough. And until recently, this was the only thing that I would play. But I realized that when I was 8 years old, I started playing a different tape loop. A tape loop that showed me a very different perspective that I would want you to also have, because this perspective changed everything for me, and I hope that it can do the same for you. My name is Emma, and I have been living an intentional life over the last 11 years, trying to make better decisions to live the life that I've always wanted. It hasn't always been easy, and not every decision is the one that I would make today, but that just kind of proves that you're growing, and that if it brought you to this point where you want to be better and to keep going, it's a pretty good place no matter what's happened. So if you'll allow me to share my story with you, I hope that it gives you the same perspective to shift and to accept that the power has always been within you. When I was 8 years old, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. I was told that the curve in my spine was pretty significant and that I would have to wear a back brace. And my personal case was significant enough to the point where I was right on the edge of needing surgery if significant intervention was not taken immediately. So I was fitted for a back brace that day, where I would have to wear this back brace the entire night while I slept. It was very uncomfortable, and I really did not have the ability to move in it, which was kind of the point, but I also just didn't like it. So we tried it out for those 6 months. I wore it every single night, and we went back to the doctor, and he said that the progression was not quick enough. The intervention that they had taken was not moving the needle quickly enough to prevent the need for surgery, so we would have to step it up to a 23-hour back brace. One that I would wear no matter what I was doing throughout the whole day, no matter what I was wearing. And this was just going to be my reality until I no longer needed it, until I was done growing. The doctor looked me in the eye that day and said that if I did not take this seriously, I would have life-changing surgery that would follow me for the rest of my life. And that was a lot to hand to an 8-year-old, but it was the wake-up call that I needed because I wasn't doing that well in school either. I was in ESL classes, and though my family is from Bosnia, English was, for any given right, my first language, and being behind was on me more so than anything else. I wasn't doing very well in math or any of the other classes. The only class I really enjoyed was being outside and running. So that all quickly changed. I was told I was no longer allowed to run at recess. I would have to sit there and do whatever, but I couldn't go and run around with the other kids. The risk of getting hurt from falling was too high. So I decided to start reading because I was tired of every single adult in my life constantly telling me that I had been behind, and yet I was the only one who had the power to change it, which is exactly what this doctor said. He said that my mom couldn't do it for me, he couldn't do it for me, that no one else but me could wear this and fix the issue. So I sat down and I started reading books. And within a few months, I no longer needed these ESL classes, and I started performing way better in school. So much so that 4 years later, still wearing the 23-hour brace, I was put into all advanced classes in my new school. I was doing better, and I was allowed to do ballet once a week for about an hour. So they allowed it because I was progressing quite nicely. So this power was given back to me. I was doing pretty well, and I did not care what the other kids said or what the teachers did or didn't say, because I was told I had the power, so why would I care what anybody else was doing or not doing, because it was up to me. And then the fateful day came where I no longer had to wear it. This was now 6 years later, and I was terrified because I had attributed all the success to the back brace, to this thing that I thought was going to be the worst thing that ever happened to me. I was suddenly attributing all of my greatest successes to. And yet, it did not stop me from taking it off, because I was really happy about it. And I believe I left it with them that day at the doctor's office. I was now in 9th grade, so I was 14. And I left it with them, and I showed up to school, and it was like a normal day. Except now I could go and play at recess, and cross-country tryouts were coming out pretty soon, and I wanted to try out. I wanted to go running. I wanted to get back into it. Though 6 years had passed and I really wasn't running much anymore. So I did not make the team. And here I was, confused. I thought that I could do whatever I wanted, and yet I could not make this team yet. The coach told me I just was not fast enough for the team. There was too many good seniors who were going to have to take those spots. So I could try again next year. And yet again, I did the same thing. I started running more frequently. I started working out more. I enjoyed ballet more because I could go and do it now. And I started getting way more fit because I could move again. So I did. I kept going. I kept showing up to these workouts that nobody was making me. And the coach did not particularly provide any clear direction, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be okay. I don't need her to. I'll figure it out. And so the following year, I made cross country and I made the track team and continued to until I graduated high school. So I realized that the back brace, which I had attributed to so much of my success, was actually just a jumping off point. That it was a brace and not the reason. It was something that was giving me a direction. It was not doing the work for me. And I decided that that was going to be true for me throughout everything that I did throughout high school. I got straight A's. I did internships. I had 6-7 different jobs. There was no one who was going to ever tell me again that I wasn't going to be enough. And yet, one of the tape loops that I got stuck in was me telling myself that exact thing. And so the only thing that could get me out of that tape loop was the exact same thing that it did when I was 8, was to be told that the power was within me. And that's exactly what happened 5 years ago when I came at this precipice where I was complaining about life. I was at a high, I had just graduated college, but I felt so behind. And I knew in this moment, it was a turning point yet again, that I was either going to show up for me, move forward, and let go of the past, or I was going to get stuck into it and never come out of it. Just like when my doctor told me that if I didn't do this, I would have a life-changing surgery that would affect me for the rest of my life. I saw that point as the same thing, that if I didn't choose correctly in that moment, I would have to face this forever. So I decided to choose me again. And if that 8-year-old version of me could stand up and say, you know what, I'll figure it out then this 28-year-old version of me can do the exact same. To show up when everything seems impossible. To put on a different tape loop and say, you know what, it's okay if no one else believes in me or thinks I can do it. I believe that I can. And I believed it at 8, at 14, at 19, at 20, at 28. At all of these different ages, I had to stand up and believe in myself because no one else had to. No one else could do it for me. That doctor was so right. It does not matter who's in your life. It matters what you are doing with the chance that you've been given. I was given a choice, and that choice made the rest of my life. Would not be who I am today if that did not happen to me when I was a kid, nor any other experience. And now I stand here knowing that everything happened for a reason, and truly believe it, and know that everything I'm struggling with right now is doing the same thing, because life can only be lived going forward, and yet it's only understood looking backwards. So, what have you been able to overcome, and how did that bring you to this moment? This was something that I had to ask myself over and over again. I've written 70 journals full of this question of just trying to figure it out. And I don't have all the answers, but what I do know is that when I show up and I choose myself, the return on that investment changes everything. It changes the game. When I put my belief of myself above what anyone else thinks of me, there's no one that can stop me other than me. That 8-year-old version of me decided to take on that challenge and to face it head on. I no longer have any issues. And I recently got back full force into caring about my health, because I remember what it was like having to be at the doctor's office every 3 months for 18 years. I had other health issues that we don't have to talk about right now. That sort of led into the scoliosis, but I didn't have to be there anymore, and that's why I wanted to take care of me, because no one else was going to do it. No one else could do it for me. No one else could move my body or give me food or choose how much water or choose anything for me other than me. And if they were choosing, I was complicit in that decision. If I went out with friends to eat dinner, or if I went drinking or whatever it was, I was complicit in that choice. And it wasn't up to the people who invited me. I got to choose what I consumed, and that goes for everything in life. I decided that I was worthy of the time that I needed to spend to learn, to create, to become. That all those people who didn't believe in me, who had those snide comments, all the parents of other friends, all the people in my life, all the family members who thought that I was a weird, quiet girl that was never gonna overcome it, those were their opinions, and they didn't have to be the ones that I wrote down and repeated to myself. And though I've had those tape loops and it still comes up, now I am so much more aware of why and what that means, because I've spent the time with myself to believe that I deserve that love and that life. I deserve every single beautiful thing, and so do you. There is nothing in this world that you are not capable of and that you can't achieve if you don't put yourself in the position to do so. You get to choose. You get to decide. That doctor, those teachers, they can only guide you so much. At some point, you have to pick up the baton and say, you know what? It's my turn to run with it. And I don't run anymore. But I feel like the biggest race is the one that we were handed to when we were born. It's the race of life. The one where we get to count on ourselves and to decide that what's in front of us isn't going to stop us. And someday we might look back and even say it helped us. So the only person who truly has to step out of your way is you. What are you going to decide?